Hi guys, welcome to our channel. So in today's video I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew a bubu with this beautiful neck collar. So if you are new to our channel, kindly like, subscribe to this channel and always turn on your notification bell so you can get update from us whenever we post a new video. So if you are a returning subscriber, kindly stay back and watch this video. Also, I'll be teaching you how to add a pocket to this bubble dress. So guys, let's get straight into the video. So guys, the next thing I'll do, I'm just going to be folding my fabric into four. Okay, so in order for you to know what to fold, you're just going to be measuring from your shoulder to the length of your sleeve. So for mine is 18, so I'm just going to be folding 18 into four places. You're just going to fold your fabric into four and the length of this should be 18. So guys, I just went ahead to mark the start line. You can measure 1 inch from the top of your wrapper, and that will serve as a shoulder line. So from that point, I'm just going to be marking my armhole line. So I marked 9 inch. So if you're on a bigger size, you can actually use 10 or 11, but 9 it's okay for me. So I'm just going to note that, then continue. Just place your tip from your shoulder to your hip line. So for this tutorial, the hip line that I'm working with is 21. So I'm just going to be marking 21. You can actually connect this with a straight ruler. So after marking 21, I just went ahead to mark the full length of this gown. And the full length of this gown, you're going to be adding together with the folding allowance. So mine is 39.5, okay? So make sure you add like 1 inch for the folding allowance. Then I went ahead to connect with a straight ruler. So on the hip line, I'm going to be dividing my hip measurements by 4, and what I have is 9 inch. So you're just going to be marking 9 inch on that hip line. Then you add extra allowance. You could add between 4 to 5 inch or 6 inch. It depends on how full you want this to be. So I'm just going to be connecting from that my armhole line. Just connect like you see me doing to the hip line. Okay, just connect like you see me doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing. Then when we get to the hem of this dress, I'm going to be marking my hip measurement, which is 9. Then you can decide to add between 2 inches to 3 inch because you want the down part to be fitted a little. So from there, I'm just going to connect to the hip line, and I went ahead to use my scissors to cut this out. Okay, you are going to cut on the line that we just marked. Also, I'm going to cut the shoulder, just trim like you see me doing, and open up this armhole line. So from the top of the shoulder, I'm just going to be separating the back from the front. We're going to be working on the back. Okay, so for the neck width of this, we are going to be using 3.5. Then the neck depth, we are going to be using 2 inch. So we are just going to be connecting with a curve. So guys, I went ahead to cut this out. So I also went ahead to trim the shoulder because the allowance is much. I just need half of an inch. So guys, after I was done doing that, we are going to be working on the front right now. So for the front, we're also going to be using the neck width of 3.5 and also the neck depth of 9 inch. You could use between 9 to 10. I'm going to be marking on the wrong side of my fabric, so I've folded it into 2. I also went ahead to trim half of an inch from the start line, just like we did for the back, okay, just to reduce the seam allowance. So from that point, I'm just going to be marking 3.5 inch, okay. Also remember, we are going to be having half of an inch, so we'll start our measurement from that half of an inch. Then you're going to be marking 9 inch. That will serve as our neck depth for the front. So from that point, I'm going to be marking 3.5 as well, which is also our neck width. I just want to get a straight line, so I'm just going to be connecting from that 9 inch to the top of my dress. just connect like you see me doing. Also, in order to create the v-neck, from that 9 inch I'm just going to be marking 1 inch. So I'm going to be connecting with a straight ruler to the neck, to the top of my, to the shoulder line. Okay, just watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you're just going to be connecting with a straight ruler. So from that point I'm going to be cutting through. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm just going to be cutting the v-neck out, just like you see me doing. Cut on the line that we just marked. Okay, so guys, after I was done doing that, this is what the front looks like. I opened this up, and as you can all see, this is the front, and also here is the back. Okay, the back is higher than the front. So the next thing I went ahead to do, I'm just going to be joining the shoulder line. So you're going to use your safety pin to secure this first. Yeah, and then I'll go over to my sewing machine and stitch using 0.5 inch. I'll do the same thing to the other side. Join your shoulder together, then after securing with your pin, go over ahead to your sewing machine and stitch using 0.5 inch. So guys, after I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. Can you see? So I'm just going to be measuring the neck. Okay, so just take your tape, measuring tape. From that end you're just going to measure all the way until you get to the second end. Just watch what I'm doing. Make sure you measure this round. And after I was done measuring, I had 33. Remember, you're not going to measure that 1 inch, so you're just going to stop at that 33. So for the collar, I actually made use of a lycra material. You can use crepe, silk, braided satin, duchess, just name it. But if you're going to be using a lycra, you know it's a little bit stretchy. Ensure you add an interfacing to it, because this actually gave me a tough time. So I went ahead to measure 5 inch. This will serve as the neck width. Then the length of this is, you should have more than 33. Okay, so you should have more instead of having a less of this. You can actually always trim this out. So this should go in, it should be on fold. Also for this other one, I marked, I measured out 11 inch on both sides. Can you see? Just, you're just going to mark a square. All squares are equal, the sides are equal, so you're just going to be measuring 11 inch. Then I went ahead to notch the midpoint of this. So guys, you can be creative with this. I just wanted to style it a little, so I'm just going to be marking 3 like you see me doing. Then on the other end I also mark 3 inch. So I'm just going to be connecting with a straight ruler. After I was done connecting, I went ahead to cut this out. Okay, so you can decide to, you can do this on both sides, on the two sides, but I just want this for one side, and this is okay for me. So I'll just go to my ironing table. I'm going to be folding like you see me doing. I'm going to be folding half of an inch. Okay, you're going to be folding half of an inch aside the other upper part where we notched. So for our collar, I'm just going to be folding my fabric into two. Ensure you iron this. So guys, when placing your collar to this, to the neck, don't start from the edge. You can start from like 1 inch. I'll show you when we are done stitching. Okay, because after I was done doing this, I actually loosed it. So you have to start like 1 inch before joining to your neck. So I'll go ahead and pin to my fabric. Ensure you are pinning this on the right side. Okay, you are pinning this on the right side. Pin this to the right side of your fabric. So you do this until you get to the other end. Take your time when doing this. So guys, after doing that, you just go over to your sewing machine and you are going to join the collar to the neck using half of an inch. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done joining. Remember I asked you to start like half of an inch. I went ahead to notch that point. Okay, then I started, I asked you to start half of an inch. So like you see me doing, I have like half of an inch XX on both sides. So it's going to be like an overlap. So I'm just going to rearrange the neck collar very well. Then you can either flip it this way, you can make the neck to be this way, or you can do it the other way around. So I think this is okay for me, and I'm just going to cut this out. I'm going to cut this out because it's not straight, it's slanty. So I'm just going to cut it out, just like you see me doing. So I'll cut the second one as well. So guys, you should have something like this. I will advise you don't use a stretchy fabric for this, and if you must use, ensure you add an interfacing to this, okay? So for this, I've gone ahead to iron the edges, fold in like 0.5 inch. Then for the notched part, I'm just going to be placing this at the top of my collar, like you see me doing. Make sure you are placing at the center of that collar, okay? Because we already notched this. So place it at the center, and I'll go ahead to my sewing machine and stitch using 0.5 inch. Then I'll turn it over and top stitch to the main fabric. So guys, after I was done stitching, can you see, this is what you should have. So I'm just going to turn it like you see me doing. Then I'll go to my sewing machine. I'm going to be top stitching, but before then, ensure you secure this with your pin so this will not shift. Ensure you secure this with your pin. Like I said, if you are to use a stretchy material, please make sure you add an interfacing to this, or you use your hemming gum. I later used iron a hemming gum to this. That was how I was able to stitch this neatly. Or if you don't want to pass through that stress, you can make use of a non-stretchy material like silk and the likes. So the next thing I went ahead to do, I'm just going to be stitching, top stitching. Just go to your sewing machine and stop stitch. Then for the down part of this gown, I'm going to be folding just like you see me doing. You're going to be folding the edge, and also for the sleeve, I'm going to be folding half of an inch on both sides, just like you see me doing. Fold like half of an inch. Then after doing that, I'll show you what it looks like. After I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. So I went ahead to iron this properly. Also for the tip hem of this dress, I went ahead to fold, and also the sleeve. Okay, so this is the second side. I've gone ahead to fold in 0.5 inch. Then the next thing I'm just going to, because I'll be adding a pocket to this bubu dress, I went ahead to measure 12 inch for the length, and also 8 inch. After I was done, I went ahead to give it a nice curve. So I make sure I have about 4 pieces of this, 2 for each of the pocket. So I'm just going to be marking half of an inch. Then I'm going to, because our pocket is going to be 7 inches wide, so from that point I'm just going to be marking half of an inch. I'll be stitching through that lines that I just marked. So you're just going to start, you're not going to be starting from the edge, you're going to be starting half of an inch. Stitch on the lines that I just marked. I'll repeat the same thing to the second pocket, okay? Just place your tape half of an inch from the start line. Then the width of our pocket is 7. Then you just connect like you see me doing. I also went ahead to fold my fabric into 2. I'll be imputing my measurements. So I'm just going to be marking my half length from the shoulder to my half length, which is 5.5, okay? So guys, I'm going to be stitching 1 inch from that point. Then when I get to that half length, I'm going to mark 7 inch where we'll fix our pockets. Then I'm going to be stitching 1 inch until I get to the end of this dress. I'll repeat the same thing to the other side, from your shoulder to your half length. Mine is 15.5. I'm going to be marking that 15.5. So from that point, that's where I'll be starting my pocket. That's where I'll be fixing my pockets. Then I'm going to be creating like 7 inch. Just mark 7 inch. From that 7 inch, you mark that point. That will be the end of our pocket. That will be the place where our pocket will stop. Then from that point, I'm going to be stitching 1 inch to the end of this gown. So guys, for this pocket, can you see I've gone ahead to stitch this. So I'm also going to be notching this other side. Repeat the same thing to the second pocket, okay? Then I'm going to be folding this inside, notch like you see me doing. I'll also notch the second pocket. Then I'm going to be turning it out. So for the main dress, like I said, I'm gone ahead to stitch half of 1 inch as the seam allowance. Then from the half length, I made an opening of 7 inch for the pocket. So for this pocket, I'll go to my ironing table. I'm going to be ironing the two pockets out. So guys, after I was done ironing, this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to be fixing this to my dress. Just make sure you fold like you see me doing. Just watch what I'm doing. You're going to be placing this pocket, the wrong side of the pocket to the right side of the fabric, okay? Just watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you are going to secure this with a pin, the wrong side of your fabric or the inside of your fabric of your pocket. Instead, you are going to fix it to the right side of your dress. Watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, this is what you should have. Ensure you secure with a pin. Then you are going to stitch using 0.5 inch. I'll be repeating the same thing to the other side, still using 0.5 inch on both sides. Then for the other pocket, you are going to repeat the same thing, okay? And that's going to be the end of our tutorial. So guys, if you've not subscribed to this channel, do well by hitting the like and the subscribe button, and always turn on your notification bell so you can get updates from us whenever we post a new video. So guys, here is the final outcome. It's looking so beautiful. So you can decide to make this long if you don't want it short. So guys, until I see you in my next video, bye.